Well, good morning and welcome to WBRZ Morning News. I'm Joe Collins. It's the final home game of the year for the LSU Tigers as they take on Western Kentucky. This morning, we're going to head over to Tiger Stadium. We've got Bree Anderson, Jack Schemmel with sports. And guys, final home game of a season that many LSU fans probably aren't too fond of.
They may not be too excited about the opponent, but if the Tigers win on senior night, I think all those qualms will go to the wayside in this one. Again, senior night, like you mentioned, a bunch of seniors will be honored tonight. It's been a tough year for a lot of these Tigers, but they finished the season out. It'll be nice if they can get a win tonight, go to 7-4 on the season, finish their Tiger career at home with a win, Bree.
Yeah, they're stepping outside of the SEC facing Western Kentucky, but it might be a nice break. We know the gauntlet of how tough the SEC can be, especially playing, 6-7 weeks straight. And within the last few weeks, especially last week, we got our first look at Tiger backup quarterback, now starter Michael Van Buren. Things started a little rocky, Jack, but how do you think he settled in?
Well, it was a little rocky. First two drives, he went 3 and out, but then he did really settle in, like you said. He's not a guy that's going to throw the ball all over the field, but he can use his legs, and he did that to move the pocket and make timely throws. And I think as you watch that game last Saturday, he got better as the game went on. He felt more comfortable, and I think we'll see that as we see tonight's game as well. Western Kentucky obviously not as formidable as an opponent. Arkansas not great defensively either, but I think there's an opportunity for him to grow and show LSU fans what they might have going forward. And here was Frank Wilson earlier this week about Michael Van Buren's play last week.
It was a first in Tiger Stadium for Michael, and so it took a minute for it to digest. I think he settled down well. You know, he would want some of those throws back that he makes routinely, because we purposely didn't ask him to do anything over the top. We're going to give you simple ones, and even that, you know, it can become challenging for you in your debut in Tiger Stadium. But I thought he finished in a flurry. I thought he was willing to do whatever it took to help us win the football game. He delivered and gave his best when his best was needed.
Bree, I'm hoping that maybe he can hit an over-the-top shot in this game. Maybe get Chris Hilton, one of those seniors, a good going-out gift as he spent his whole career here at LSU as well. Now, another guy that's been here for 5 years, Garrett Nussmeier, he is out today. Tough situation. You never want to see that for a guy that's put a lot of time and effort into this program, but he won't play tonight. I guess, how does it go? What do you see from your perspective? You know, you're going to be at the game tonight. What do you hope to see from the crowd and Nussmeier in this one?
I really hope the crowd really embraces Nussmeier whenever he walks out for senior night. I think no other person deserves it more than him. He could have transferred years ago whenever he didn't get a starting job, but he decided to stay simply for the love of LSU. And I think that that commitment to the program should be honored whenever he does get to run out for senior night. It is unfortunate that he won't be able to play in his final game in Tiger Stadium, but I think this is an injury he's been nursing all season long. We've been hearing that it was better, then it was worse and whatnot, so we don't know what the rest of the season will look like, but we know that Garrett Nussmeier is dedicated to the Tigers, and Frank Wilson also knows that as well.
I don't know if you guys had a chance to see him on the sideline. I was so proud of him and his leadership and how he stood by his teammates, how he encouraged Michael through the duration of the game, as well as the entire offense and defense. He delivered in a way that was so monumental in the psyche of our team, that even though he was down, he was not out. And so his contributions were significant for the morale of our football team, for the mindset of our football team. To say that he played courageously throughout the year is probably an understatement. I wasn't always privy to the injuries and the things that he was going through, but he went through a lot. He persevered through a lot.
I think Garrett is the true embodiment of what number 18 means at LSU. He's a true leader, and he showed that even while he was out and Michael Van Buren took over this LSU offense. But we also know that third-string quarterback Colin Hurley is not with the team. Frank Wilson says that he's dealing with some family things, and it's a temporary situation. But that also begs the question, you know, now that Garrett's out, Michael Van Buren starting, who's going to play backup? And I know I'm excited to see the walk-on Emil Picarella. Shout out to our intern Gia Picarella, her little brother, and hopefully we get to see some action tonight from him.
Yeah, you know, if you're an LSU fan, you hope you don't see him in the game,
right,
just because you want Michael Van Buren to get those reps and to play a complete game. But you start the season with 5 deep on a depth chart, and you're like, how are these guys that are all the way on the bottom, how are they going to get in the game? Juwan Johnson took reps at quarterback in the spring. You were like, how is he ever going to play in a game
right
at quarterback? Well, he's one play away from getting a couple of opportunities. You know, if Van Buren would go down, or if
maybe they're up by a lot.
Or they're up by a lot late in the game. You will see either Juwan Johnson or Picarella, the walk-on from U-High, get some action in this one. Here was Frank Wilson earlier this week talking about his quarterback situation.
We got a guy that went through the entire spring with us and Juwan Johnson at quarterback, all the way into fall camp, who we've been constantly still working. As Garrett's injury started to reveal itself even more, to have an emergency plan. We feel confident about that. We feel confident about Emil being able to step in and get us out of the game if we needed to do so. So we have a contingency plan that we feel confident in.
You really want Michael Van Buren to show what he's got over these final couple games of the season. He will burn his red shirt once he steps on the field tonight. So really just want to see what Michael Van Buren does from game 1 to game 2 as the starting quarterback. Now, another new guy on this LSU roster this year, Harlem Berry. You know, at the start of the year, he was trying to get his snaps at running back, but since the middle of the season, since that Ole Miss game, really, he's come alive. Last game against Arkansas, he made some great runs, the game-clinching runs. Bree, what have you seen from him as the season has grown?
Explosiveness. I think he's really shown that over the course of the season. He's really gotten better breaking off for big runs and big gains, and he's able to kind of, you know, put those, I guess, criticisms to rest at times when people say LSU can't run the ball. I think Harlem Berry shows that he'll make a way. He's really kind of came into his own even as a freshman, kind of adding some more depth with him and Caden Durham. And he's even taken a lot more of the load. So Harlem Berry's just development over the course of the season has been so fun to watch. And I think Frank Wilson, his running back coach, thinks so too.
It just takes time, and we're in the development business. This is not the National Football League. We still nurture, we still develop, we still teach, they still grow, they still ascend. People assume when they come here there's an S on their chest and we just push them out there and they go play. We're teachers first. And so he needed that development. He's playing his best football now. I think it'll continue in the next couple of weeks to come and on through a bowl season as his evolution comes to bear itself.
Now switching over to some special teams action. They don't get enough love, you know, but they do a lot of the heavy lifting. Speaking of Damian Ramos, LSU's kicker, he has not been perfect. He's missed a few throughout the season, but last week against Arkansas, he went 3 of 3. He hit a 50-yarder and I think a couple of 42-yarders as well to kind of help LSU getting out in front after falling behind by 2 scores. Jack, what have you seen from Ramos, especially as he earned some SEC honors?
Well, he's carried the load a lot this season for LSU because we've seen this Tiger offense really struggle in the red zone and in opponent territory. So he's got a lot of opportunities to make field goals, and he's done a good job for the most part. Of course, against Alabama, he did miss that one to start the game, but then was 3 for 3 the rest of the way. Great last week against Arkansas, and these aren't chip shot field goals either. They're not 22-yarders. They're 45, 47, 48, and he's now the LSU all-time point leader. So a guy that came into the program when he started off, you know, people not too hot about him. You know, as a kicker, if you miss kicks, nobody likes you. But he's making them, and LSU fans are happy that he's been able to contribute to their scoring this year, because without him, without a reliable kicker this year, I don't know where LSU would be.
3 for 3 in field goal attempts, perfect in PATs, and nobody says anything. He missed that one wide right. Everybody remembers it. Consistency, maturity. He's going to be a tough one to replace. as he wraps up his senior year here. He has been steady since his freshman year. He is our all-time point leader, and just really proud of the job that he's done for us.
Ramos, one of the handful of seniors playing their final game at Tiger Stadium tonight, as we've mentioned earlier. Bree, of course, Garrett Nussmeier won't play, but he'll walk out with that 18 jersey. Harold Perkins, he's had a crazy kind of career, but it'd be nice to have him go out on the right foot. He's really played well the past couple of weeks after maybe not playing great during that stretch where LSU was losing those games, but against Alabama and then Arkansas, he seems to crush Arkansas. He was great.
Yeah, absolutely. When you think of this senior class, you just think of, like I said earlier about Nussmeier, just the commitment to LSU. You think of guys like West Weeks and, like you said, Harold Perkins and Garrett Nussmeier, and there's many other guys. Chris Hilton as well. We mentioned him earlier. He's a Zachary guy right down the road. So I think it'll be not interesting, but fun to see these seniors go out on top like they are hoping to tonight. Hopefully they get to make some big plays and have the senior night that they always dreamed about.
We got quite a few of them that have been here 3 years and more. But we do have an influx of some of the guys that we've gotten out of the portal who've been here as little as a year or going on a year and change or less than. I think for those guys, they have embraced and taken in what it is to be an LSU Fighting Tiger. They're extremely excited to partake in it because they've never done it, because wherever they left, they were still yet an underclassman. And so I think the feeling is very much the same, that you have chills and goosebumps and excited about taking center stage in that stadium in front of 100,000 people.
I don't think anybody really understands the meaning of what senior night means to some of these guys more than Frank Wilson. He's LSU through and through, so I know this will also be an emotional night for him as well. But look, we have covered a lot of coverage in this first block of what we have to show you, but we have a lot more to get to after the break. We'll dive into this Tiger defense, who's in, who's out, who's going to play tonight. But first, let's check in with weather. Let's see what is going to look like today out here at Tiger Stadium.
Well, it is going to be, you're going to be sweating it out a little bit, Bree, as temperatures are going to be quite warm for tailgating, but we do have some promising weather for the kickoff. Temperatures around 70 and some drier air will slide in. If you're a little susceptible, temperatures maybe in the 60s, you might want to grab a jacket just in case. I've been in an LSU game where the temperature dropped and realized I didn't have a jacket, and that was no fun. So it may be cooling down a little bit more, but what we're watching here are these clouds back to the northwest. This is our cold front that's coming through, and ahead of it, it's quite warm with temperatures at 76 degrees and that dew point quite high as well. Really unusual for the mid to latter part of November, but this front's going to continue to sag a little farther to the south. And again, I wouldn't be surprised to see at least a couple of sprinkles here and there around the tailgating time, but gradually this is going to continue to push southward, and eventually we're going to see some drier air pushing in. So at this point, it looks like the LSU game should be fine. As far as our temperatures, though, we're going to be running back to 83 degrees today. Again, an isolated shower, perhaps a storm, but not real likely, 30% or less. And then on Sunday, we'll get some slightly drier air and a bit of a cool down, too, with temperatures pushing back into the mid to upper 70s. That's a quick look at your forecast. We've got more WBRZ Morning News at 10 coming up in just a little bit.
I'm Morris Park. Listen to these results. $12 million, $3.9 million, $9.8 million, $7 million, $4.4 million. All recovered in the last few years. Now you know.
In Louisiana, thousands of people suffer brain injuries each year, sending them to the hospital. At Murphy Law Firm, we understand the devastating impact of brain injuries. Injured? Call me Peyton Murphy. I am Louisiana's brain injury lawyer.
It's the can't-miss finale of Dancing with the Stars.
Who will win it all?
This ballroom is officially on fire!
Dancing with the Stars, the finale, live Tuesday on ABC and Disney+.
I was born with a sunny disposition, but I had so much knee pain and foot pain. I wasn't that way anymore. I didn't know what to do. But then I'm driving down the street one day and my knee's hurting, and I see a Good Feet store. I thought, what do I have to lose? Once I got my arch supports from Good Feet, I just went back to being my happy self again. My wife noticed it, my friends noticed it, even my dog noticed it. I just wish that I found Good Feet 20 or 30 years ago. I've got my Sonny back.
For over 75 years, Robinson Brothers Lincoln has redefined luxury in Baton Rouge, delivering an experience as refined as the vehicles we sell. Step into the elegance of the 2025 Lincoln Black Label. From the commanding Navigator to the sophisticated Nautilus, each Lincoln is designed to elevate your drive. Plus, with Lincoln Priority Service, you'll enjoy effortless maintenance and a seamless ownership experience. And as always, no unexpected fees. Redefining luxury since 1946. Robinson Brothers Lincoln.
Casa Bonita Imports liquidation sale is going on now. Save 60 to 70% off all terracotta pottery. Save 60% off wrought iron pieces and Talavera pottery. Save 50% off concrete fountains. And even more items, 50 to 60% off. Casa Bonita's liquidation sale. Airline at Prairieville.
From the official news station of LSU Athletics, this is WBRZ Morning News at 10.
To run out of that tunnel, to the roar and the cheering of 100,000 people, and that you'll get one more time to do that. I think it's starting to resonate. You see those guys day after practice and just look around and just gaze. This is,
You know, as an LSU grad, I get it. I get what it's like to be in that environment. I don't get it from the perspective of a player, but I've seen enough senior nights in Tiger Stadium to know how special those moments are. Welcome back to our Saturday morning show live here from LSU's campus. Bree Andrews, Jack Schimmel joining you, getting you ready for LSU's final home game of the season. We talked a lot about the offense in the beginning of the show, Jack, but what have you seen from this LSU defense? They've had some ups and downs this season, but it looks like they're looking to finish strong.
Yeah, the defensive secondary has been awesome the past couple of weeks. Against Alabama, they kept the Tigers in the game, and then last week against Arkansas, they just made plays that changed this game. And the guy that's done it all year for this defensive backfield is Mansour Delane, the Virginia Tech transfer. He's just been awesome. He had that interception in the opening game against Clemson. He was great there, and really other teams don't throw the ball his way, and we saw it last week with that end zone interception against Taylon Green. So he's got 2 interceptions. He had a couple pass deflections as well. So
one of the best.
He's really earned himself a first-round draft grade. He'll probably be LSU's highest draft pick this upcoming NFL draft. And here was Frank Wilson talking about Mansour Delane as he plays his last game in Tiger Stadium in just a few hours.
I live for that challenge. That's why I came to LSU. That's why, I grew up to play this game, is to thrive in those moments and, show up when your name's called. And, that's how you make a name for yourself. Not, when nobody's looking at you or the game's not dependent on you, but what are you going to do when, the game's on the line?
The sexy one is the interception down in there, but it's play after play. It's showing up. It's turning a play back inside to set the edge of the defense, to allow him or to allow us to corral and run to the ball, rally to the ball. His style of play has been superlative.
Really, during that stretch that LSU was struggling on defense, one of the main things was, Bree, they didn't have Whit Weeks, and I know there were plenty of other problems going on, but their Mike linebacker in the middle of the field calling out all the plays. Whit Weeks, he's been hurt. He hasn't played in over a month. He might play tonight.
Yeah, he was listed as probable according to Coach Frank Wilson, but I think Whit's defense, his defensive mindset and his leadership has really been lacking ever since he went out and has been hurt. You can just see it on the field. I think he really makes a difference. I know one guy can't save the whole group, but Whit definitely does make a difference with this Tiger team, and having him back out there is going to be the last time he'll be out there with his older brother Wes, his little brother Zach, all 3 of them together, and so it'll be really fun to see Whit back out there. And you know how he is. He's a high energy guy. He chugs coffee right before a game. So
maybe he should stop doing that.
Maybe he should stop doing that, but hopefully Whit will get back out there this week.
Boy, I sure hope he would. He makes us better. I'm respectful and understanding of his injury, of his future, and the things that he's trying to attain. I think if there's a possibility of him being able to play, he's going to position himself to do so. Unfortunately, that hasn't happened in the last couple of weeks, several weeks. We'll try again this week. Spoke with him this morning. He has a desire and a want to play and to finish in this season the way that he sees fit, and we certainly want to accommodate him in doing so.
I think no one wants to get out on that field more than Whit Weeks. He has been itching and clawing at it for the past few weeks. Last week, he told Coach, I'm ready to go. I want to play. He's like, the doctors didn't clear you. Let's calm down. Let's pump the brakes. But he might be ready to go tonight in the final game of the season in Tiger Stadium. But, Jack, let's take a look at this Western Kentucky team. Not a team LSU plays all too often, going out of the conference. Just what do you think about the Hilltoppers?
Well, they're 8-2 so far this season, and they're 6-1 in Conference USA. And look, theoretically, they are still alive for a college football playoff berth with that one conference champion berth going to outside of the Power Four. And if you win a road game at LSU, that'll go great towards your resume against those other non-power conference teams. So they'll come in hungry to win this game. Now, they are more than 3 touchdown underdogs.
Outmatched.
But they are going to... They're going to pull out all the stops. I expect to see some trick plays and everything like that. So LSU will probably want to bury this team early. Here's Frank Wilson earlier this week on the Hilltoppers and what they bring to the table.
They're a good football team, 8-2, a gun and fun and raid offense that throws it all over the field in various formations, a quarterback that's dynamic in his own right. You look at it against Louisiana Tech, I think he had 12 for 80 yards in rushing. He can spin it. And again, you know, when you talk about the air raid offense and all of those guys that come off of that lineage, it's always difficult because they go with great speed. They give you exotic looks, and they throw it all over the yard. We've had challenges with variation and movement up front. And so to be on point this weekend will be critical for our success, just to get a hat on a man. And I think if we do that, you know, we'll have the success that we're looking for.
All right, Western Kentucky, they are averaging nearly 300 yards a game through the air, like Frank Wilson was talking about right there. They're going to throw the ball around. Like we talked about earlier, I expect this LSU defense to be able to cover them. Now, Western Kentucky does have a quarterback that's pretty mobile, so we'll see how that works. But, you know, they're going to put pressure on this LSU secondary and see if they come through.
Yeah, on paper, they look like they are, you know, really good, but that was in their own conference, and I think they're just a little outmatched going up against an SEC program, even if LSU's not having, you know, their best year. But you never know. I mean, it's not like we've never seen, you know, a Group of 5 team beat a Power 4 team.
And
I mean,
LSU.
Yeah, we're not going to talk about that. I don't think that's ever happened. But let's just talk about what the rest of the season means for LSU. They are out of college football playoff contention, not where they want to be, not what they hoped for at the start of the season. But that's just the reality of this situation. They got the win over Arkansas last week. So, Jack, what do you think they really want to get out of these final 2 games in the bowl game that they just became eligible for?
I think they just really want to build on that win against Arkansas, see what they have in Michael Van Buren, see what they have in some of the young guys, and really build some momentum in this program for whoever the next coach is and get some more practices for the young guys during that bowl season.
It's a big deal for us. Anytime you're able, when you think of your program holistically and the continuous opportunity to develop your team, the longer and the more you can practice, there's development, there's engagement, there's cohesiveness that happens with your football team. And so we'd like to play into January to advance our football team, to keep the camaraderie and the building of a program that we think is on our horizon, right? At a time in year when some people are getting weary, our football team is building steam.
Hey, of course, there's a lot more football going on today, especially right here on WBRZ. And our guy, Hunter McCann, will have his best bets coming up after the break.
Why do you choose Prescriptions to Go?
I recommend Prescriptions to Go to all my patients for the quality, convenience, and pricing.
If you want good, professional, courteous, accurate service on a level that you won't get anywhere else, come to Prescriptions to Go.
I had a very complicated pregnancy, and I really depended on Prescriptions to Go to take care of my baby and I, and they always did.
Our family, helping your family at Prescriptions to Go.
Get Christmas bikes at Capital Cyclery. Capital Cyclery has all the makes and models. Kids bikes starting at $199.99. Capital Cyclery has e-bikes, Buzz, Specialized, and Electra bikes starting at $999.99. Get a free helmet with every e-bike purchase. Capital Cyclery has layaways and free assembly too. Capital Cyclery, the place for clothing, gear, and accessories. Shop Capital Cyclery, save big for Christmas.
Capital Cyclery, the bicycle superstore.
In Baton Rouge, Gonzales, Lafayette, and Lake Charles.
Do you want to love your garage again? Throw parties on the patio or just add curb appeal? Omega Concrete Coatings can put an end to your ugly concrete in as little as a day. Locally owned and operated, our certified installation team gets right to the problem, laying the groundwork for your new and improved floors with the most innovative coating system on the market. Check us out at OmegaConcreteCoatings.com or call us at 225-341-5888. Put an end to your ugly concrete with Omega Concrete Coatings.
Luxury isn't just for the runway. It's for every smile, every glance, and every moment you walk into a room with confidence. At Unique Aesthetics and Wellness, all of our tox treatments, Botox, Xeomin, and Dysport are just $8 a unit. Smooth, subtle, and sophisticated. Because true confidence should feel effortless. Where luxury aesthetic treatment feels like home. Visit myuniqueaesthetics.com or call 225-5UNIQUE.
Call me Peyton Murphy. I am a Louisiana shoulder injury lawyer.
Now, this week's Best Bets with Hunter McCann.
Oh yeah, welcome into Best Bets. Let's get started with the Tigers facing the Hilltoppers tonight in Death Valley. LSU a 21.5-point favorite in this matchup with the over-under set at 48.5 total points. And look, the Tigers don't have much left to play for this season, but it is the final home game of the year under the lights in Death Valley. This feels like a buy low spot for the Tigers, who have struggled to cover the spread all season, especially a double-digit spread. However, LSU's defense should be able to suffocate the Hilltoppers, who have done well offensively this season, but obviously have not faced a defense like this Tiger unit. I am sure LSU will still struggle at some points in this game to put points up on the board and get in the end zone, but I think that there will be a multitude of opportunities with the Tigers defense giving the ball back to the offense. So I will take the Tigers to get enough done in this one to pull away from Western Kentucky. So give me LSU minus 21.5 points. Moving back to this morning, up next on WBRZ at 11 o'clock, Missouri is on the road facing the Oklahoma Sooners. Oklahoma a 6.5-point favorite in this one with the over-under set at 41.5 total points. The good news for Mizzou is they are coming off a big win over Mississippi State last weekend and are heading into Norman with their QB1 returning from injury. The bad news is they're set up to face one of the highest-rated defenses in the country. Missouri already doesn't have much pop on the offensive side of the ball, and it will be difficult to generate anything consistently today. Now, for the Sooners, their offense has also been lackluster most of the season, but their defense's ability to limit opponents is why I think that they still have a shot at the college football playoffs. It won't be a pretty game, but I think Mizzou will struggle too much in this one, allowing for the Sooners to slowly pull away. Take Oklahoma to cover 6.5 points this morning. Now, later this afternoon, the Arkansas Razorbacks have a date in Austin with the Texas Longhorns. Texas, an 8.5-point favorite in this matchup with the over-under set at 57.5 total points. Arkansas may be the best winless team in SEC history. They have done so well this season of making nearly every game close. They just can't find a way to finish and win a ball game. The Longhorns are coming off that demoralizing loss to Georgia last weekend and are currently on the bubble for the playoffs. But Texas has shown all year that they play down to their opponents, as they have only covered the spread twice this season. Arkansas has played tougher teams like Texas A&M and Ole Miss and kept those games closer than they probably should have been. There's too many points on the board in this one, so I'm going to ride with the Razorbacks plus 8.5 points this afternoon. And then finally, we cap off Week 13 of college football with Tennessee at Florida tonight right here on WBRZ. The Volunteers 3.5-point favorites on the road in this matchup with the over-under set at also 57.5 total points. Tennessee has not won in the Swamp since 2003. And yet here they are as a more than a field goal favorite today. The Volunteers are easily the better team in my eyes, but you can throw all that out the window in this matchup. The Gators always seem to elevate their play against Tennessee. However, I believe that Tennessee will be just fine in this one as long as they protect their quarterback, Joey Aguilar. Florida has struggled to consistently move the ball this season, and I don't think they're going to be able to keep up with Tennessee in this one. The public all over the Florida Gators in this one, considering Tennessee's track record the last 20 years in the Swamp. But I will happily go the other way and take the Volunteers to cover 3.5 points on the road later tonight. Quick recap, LSU finally covers a big spread. Take the Tigers in their final home game at minus 21.5 points. Oklahoma chips away to cover a 6.5 point spread against Mizzou. Arkansas keeps it close against Texas, plus 8.5 points. And then finally tonight on WBRZ, Volunteers get their first win in the Swamp since 2003, covering 3.5 points. All right, we will head right back out to Jack and Bree later in the show. But when we come back from break, Joe Collins is back with a look at your local news. We'll be right back.
Louisiana has big weather, and that can mean big damage to your roof. Call us for a free roof inspection to be sure. If we find damage, we'll even help you file it with your insurance. Protect your home with Rice and Roofing.
Just to be on the safe side.
Next week, GMA and America's Test Kitchen are bringing the heat to your table.
We're going to show you how to cook and serve the best Thanksgiving ever. Trust me, your family will thank you for this.
Next week, only on
Good Morning, America.
Style or substance. Somehow, it became one or the other. But there is another.